We're right back to EEI Late Night with KJ on EEI.
The one thing what makes the Patriots so good is number one, they don't beat themselves. I think defensively, they understand the assignment here. Bill we already know, job number one is going to be Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Take away the run game. Now,
but
it's easier said than done. There's no teams are running New England, but I know being in that meeting room, Bill has been pounding in those guys' heads again and again and again. We have to take care of the run, because if we don't take care of the run, nothing else matters. Because you know who Bill really wants to make this about? Carson Wentz.
Here they come, here they come, here they come. Late night, WEEI with KJ. Thank you so much for hanging out. That's Damian Woody talking about the Patriots are making this all about Carson Wentz. 617-779-7937. Turn it up a little, Stiz. Give that a little.
Let's
go.
Here
they come. Here they come. All right, Mike in Boston. You're on WEEI. Thanks for calling, man.
Hey, can I make a point about the Chiefs? I think you guys are overrating the Chiefs a lot more. I think that the Chargers lost the game last night more than the Chiefs won it.
I agree.
Because, and you guys are overrating their defense a little bit, too. You say that they're allowing the least amount of points over their last 6 games prior to the Chargers game. But they were playing the Raiders twice.
Oh, I would never look at any defensive stat talking about the Chiefs at all. It's like playing Madden. Like, some people just don't kick on 4th down. That's like the Chiefs. You know, it's one of those things where they believe their own hype. I get it. Next hour, I'll get into Patrick Mahomes' brother, how he's believing his own hype and kind of running amok there as well. But I think the Chiefs are one of those teams that, because they're in a division with not a whole lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Discipline, right? Like, are the Raiders really a disciplined team? We saw the Chargers are not disciplined. They were going for it like there was like points are free. And then the Broncos, they just can't. I mean, the Broncos are just atrocious when it comes to scoring points. So, Mike, thanks for the call. I totally agree that the Chiefs are not, you have to respect them because they can put points on the board. But in terms of, you'll never hear me say what they do defensively or stops. Those are not words you hear in the middle of a sentence with me talking about the Chiefs. In fact, here's Rob Ninkovich talking about last night's game and why he thinks the Patriots are actually the team to beat.
It would have made perfect sense to me to say, you cannot beat Kansas City kicking field goals. They haven't really been that team this year. So where do you land in this argument?
You know who'd be kicking field goals?
Bill Belichick.
The Patriots. Yeah, Patriots will be kicking field goals, and they would win this game. So guess what? When I watched the game last night, I see 2 teams that kind of, to me, separated themselves behind the Patriots. Kansas City, okay, yeah, they got very powerful offense. But guess what? Patrick Mahomes had the yips a couple times. He couldn't throw the ball at certain points in this game. So if you're the Patriots, you're watching this game, okay, the Chargers defense can't really stop the run. They can't stop anybody. The Chiefs, if we take away Kelsey and Hill, which, you know, defensively, that's what you do. You game plan against the Chiefs. You make sure you don't have Kelsey run for touchdowns and first downs and Tyreek run all over the field. And you don't let Patrick Mahomes out of the pocket, because we saw what happened there.
Yeah.
So the Patriots, guess what? They're the clear-cut best team in the AFC now.
Yeah, the AFC West is kind of JV league. Like a bunch of big kids and then like some kind of somewhat sizable kids in the rest of it. No. Despite how many jokes we make about Buffalo here, and they're good ones, Buffalo only got tough because of the Patriots beating them down. Alex in Connecticut, hey, go ahead and talk Pats Colts. I'm ready for the game tomorrow night.
Hey, buddy, what's going on, KJ?
You, man, good to hear from you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just want to talk about real quick the Colts coming up. I know Jonathan Taylor. I know he's been the workhorse in the league. Derrick Henry's gone down. I know we really got to stop him, but they're balling Wentz's hands. Even though that's the game plan, I still feel like Wentz this year, he's been playing decent. He hasn't been playing too great, but I still feel like he can put some damage to the air. What do you think about him with the young receivers like Michael Pittman? They got Pascal.
Yeah, no, I'm just not a believer of of Carson Wentz in terms of, if you go back to the story, and thanks for the call, Alex. I appreciate it, man. He's in a car. He'd be chilling with the girl right now, Stiz, but he's called WEEI. I appreciate it. He's with us. You could be anywhere in this world, but you're here with us. So go back. So here's the thing with Carson Wentz. You go back to the end of last year. When Philly was willing to get rid of him, the deal was that Carson Wentz would have to take 75% of the snaps for the Eagles to get a protected, I think, a first-round draft pick. So there's literally another team that's hoping that you do bad but stay in the game. That mentally does something to you. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Last American Virgin at the very end where dude's driving off and James Ingram just once is playing. He has realized that the girl that he's taking care of the stuff for her, she still went back to the guy. Carson Wentz has that in his head. And for this to be the first real prime time game against somebody who is going to play with his mind. Belichick could play with Wentz's mind the way that Zach Wilson's mind gets played with by Belichick, what's happened to Sam Darnold. Carson Wentz is just a little bit on the other side of that just because of that one season he had in 2017. But keep in mind, that was a horrible NFC East that he was playing in. So now when you're facing the AFC where you've got better coaching, Tomlin, Belichick, who else would I put in there? Vrabel. Boy, it's kind of hard. Andy Reid on the offensive side, yes. But ultimately, everything in this league for players and quarterbacks really comes down to how do you address protecting yourself against Belichick's mastermind. And I don't know if Carson Wentz will do very well, and I don't think they're game planning for him to suddenly have this breakout game against the master. That would be dumber than dumb. But, he'd still get his 75% snaps in, and the Eagles would just be just fine and happy with him being in the game, win or lose. So you also mentioned about Jonathan Taylor. In their losses, every game Jonathan Taylor's been held to under 100 yards. And all that, Ravens, Tampa, Titans, all held him under. Don't quote me on Titans, but I know the Ravens, Tampa for sure. They've held him under. Pittsburgh, I think, held him under 100 yards. So if he goes over 100 yards, it's going to be a problem. But I think at the same time, if you're having Carson Wentz in a 2nd and 7, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, where Jonathan Taylor at best is only coming out of the backfield, and when you're running a 3-4, you got the extra linebacker that can cover the flat. I don't know if you really want to walk into that puddle for Indy. So so Indy has a retractable roof. And you know me, if you've listened to the show, I like to look at weather, all this stuff, and how it gauges my thought process on anything. Tonight it's raining in Indy, and it's going to continue to rain in Indy tomorrow. Well, that benefits the Patriots because they're going to have to close the roof. See, if I was Indy and I had, and I know the temperatures are going to be in like the upper 20s, and I know that one of your weapons is Nick Folk because Bill takes the points, I would want that swirling wind in there, especially if I know that I depend on the running game and I don't really want the passing game to really get in the way of things. I'm opening that roof, but, hey, you can open a roof and it be cold to people, but you can't open a roof and it rain. So there may be rain still going on come kickoff time tomorrow in Indianapolis, meaning that the roof would be closed, and now Nick Folk can kick it from 60. 617-779-7937 or the text line 37937. Coming in minutes, the Squid Games. 3 games, in-game parlays that allow for $1 million to be won in each game, Stiz. This is no lie. Last week, one of the Squid Games, I called it the Cam Newton Special. Atlanta Panthers picked the Falcons to win. Picked the Falcons to win by 13, between 12 and 18. Picked the Panthers to score under 19.5. And I forgot the other one. But I forgot what the 5th one was. With 3 minutes left in the game.
Uh-oh.
Right? The Panthers go 4 and out. Turn the ball over to Atlanta. I'm like, yo, I didn't play the game, but if someone listened to Squid Game,
could have been $1 million.
1.8 million. What happens? The Falcons put a bum guy in to run, and he fumbles on the first play, turns the ball over. Carolina gets over the 16.5, right? The lead goes from 15 down to 8 with 2 minutes left in the game.
Someone better get on this action tonight.
You don't want to miss Squid Games tonight because the Patriots one, which seems, I think this is an easy one. And when I discovered like what the 5 things were, I'm like, these are very doable. And it's over $1 million on a $1,000 bet. But you'll have to decide whether you're going to pull money out of that Christmas card, holiday card. I mean, that's why there's a disclaimer at the beginning of it. That's why it's on there. I mean, this is what you have to do. You know what I mean? People sometimes like, hey, KJ, if you were just 3 minutes away, think what I could have done. I would have just taken the lower number. I get it. So some things happening around the NFL besides, I don't know, COVID, which is going to, I mean, think about it. While COVID is not a good thing, and I would never say that it is at all, man, how wonderful is it that we're having like pro football like almost every day of the week until Christmas? Like literally Santa has delivered a week early. Pro football tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, next Thursday, next Saturday, next Sunday. That's 8 days in the next, that's 8, did I count it? 9 days? In 9 days? You got football on 7 of those? Woo. Man, talk about some divorces. When are you going to go buy? You said you were going to buy her that gift. Honey, I did not realize that Pittsburgh would be playing on Tuesday, you know.
However, if you had an extra $1 million, you could probably get a nice gift for the lady.
Well, now you'd get it for yourself. You wouldn't tell the lady until after Christmas. In fact, I would wait until after Valentine's Day. Like just dig a hole underneath if that's only if you live on the first floor. You know, if you're in the second floor of the duplex, you know, of the multifamily, can't be digging. Hey, get away, man! That's the cable line. But yeah, tomorrow night's game is going to be fascinating. It's going to be a great study of a very talented running back in Jonathan Taylor. That he is just. When I saw what he did to Buffalo, I was like, boy, he's scary. But if there's one thing that Belichick is great at doing, is taking away the one thing that you're best at.